Welcome to another great week of the Blitz. I'm Abby Jones.
And I'm Kelsey Royalty. We have a lot of great stories coming at you this week.
That's for sure. Samford hosted their last home game against Mercer this weekend, and it was senior night as we recognized 21 seniors at their homecoming game.
Yep. Brian Hill sat down with head men's basketball coach Scott Padgett, and Johnny Richards previews this upcoming week's football game with Mike Grace.
All of that and more when we come back.
Basketball season is just starting up. Samford head coach Scott Padgett is in his third year, and Brian Hill sat down with him to get this story. Take a look.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Samford basketball coach Scott Padgett. And Coach, can you talk a little bit about how the guards, Josh Sharkey and Christian Cunningham, the roles they play on this year's team?
Well, I think both of them, it starts with our press. So they'll putting the pressure on the ball up front, in the front of our press. They'll be the head of our defense. And then, from on the offensive end, getting us into stuff and then pushing the ball in transition. It's a big part of what we do is trying to get out and run and get baskets before defense set up. So them pushing that ball and getting guys involved, and then understanding when the defense is back and set and being able to pull it out and get us into a play.
Mm-hmm. Alex Peters and Gerald Smith coming back from injuries last year want to have a fresh start maybe for that. What do you expect out of them this year?
Well, I think Gerald, he's had some injuries the last couple of years. I think the big thing, first of all, for Gerald is just getting out there and getting to play and staying healthy.
Exactly, yeah.
I think then from a playing standpoint, I think Gerald's got the ability to be a lockdown defender. And I think that's what we want him to focus on. And then what happens is you're out on the floor because you can guard, and then you get some open shots and you knock them down. And so I think first thing for Gerald is be a defender, rebounder, and kind of work your way into the offense. And then with AP, his thing is just be who he is. Exactly. He's always everything he does, he's trying to play to get a win, make the winning play, diving on the floor for a loose ball, taking a charge, trying to block a shot, get a rebound, help on defense. Is keep being who he is, but then in the off season, I think he put in some good work to work on getting a good hook shot in the post and a drop step and working on his free throws, and so he's added some stuff to his game, but because he's added those things, he can't let it take away from the other things and just keep being who he's always been.
Of course. Well, thanks for your time today, and back to you guys.
Thank you, Brian. Students, be sure to come support your Bulldogs this season at home. Speaking of games, volleyball hosted their senior night game this past Friday at Cybert Gym.
And I heard the crowd was huge.
Yeah, I heard all of track, softball, and baseball team was in attendance. Marquise Barnes has the story.
Samford Volleyball had an impressive crowd as they hosted UNCG in the historic Cybert Hall. Samford came into the match with an 11-2 home record, but fell short that night as the Spartans finished on top. Aaron Bogner had 20 kills, but that still wasn't enough to bring the Dogs to a victory.
I think we got a little overwhelmed in this last game. We didn't come out like our normal self, but I think it's okay because we're going to work hard in practice and we'll get back to it because we're a really talented team. It's just like the mental effort that we have, like the mental side of things that we have to put together. So that's what we got to improve on.
Although they lost, this was still a night to remember. 6 players played their last home regular season game of their college career. Aaron Bogner was a big impact to the senior class and will truly be missed.
Well, I think on the court, she's a really gifted player and is working hard to improve and grow, and I think that's a big thing. And when you're physically your best player is doing that, then I think it sets a good model for everyone to follow. So I think in that regards on the court, that's good. And I think off the court, Erin's just a fun kid. She's a lot of fun. She's kind of a jokester and a little goofy, and I think all those things help. You get through a long season. So I've really enjoyed Erin. I love her. She's awesome, along with the rest of the seniors.
Be sure you come out and support the girls as they host the SoCon tournament this weekend. For Bulldog Blitz, I'm Marquise Barnes.
Last Saturday for the homecoming game, we had a Blitz member on the sidelines. Nia McKinley got us the story.
Going into the game, we feel confident. I mean, we have a great team. We like to focus more so on what we do, not necessarily what our opponent is going to do, because we feel as though if we execute our game plan and if we focus in on what we have to do and what we're good at and play to our strengths, then there's no one in the nation that can play with us.
Samford football had quite the weekend. It was homecoming senior night and a big win for the Bulldogs. They had a tough game against the Mercer Bears as they barely held them off with a score of 24-19. Samford built a 21-0 lead in the first quarter, but Mercer powered through and narrowed the gap to a 2-point difference as the game finished. At the end of the game, Coach Hatcher was pleased with the win.
I'm very proud of our guys, and it's a great feeling to get number 7, especially for the seniors that have played so well. And you guys have been around the team, and this team has fun. They play together, and as a coach, it's just very gratifying to see them be successful. So there's a lot of relief within me right now, but also there's a lot of excitement that we found a way to win a close football game.
Before kickoff, 15 seniors were recognized in honor of senior night. For Bulldog Blitz, I'm Nia McKinley. Back to you.
Every win is a great win, and I know the seniors were super excited to beat Mercer for homecoming.
Absolutely. That win is in the books, and I know the last game of regular season is approaching soon.
Yep, this weekend, the Dogs traveled to Johnson City, Tennessee to face off with ETSU. Johnny Richards sat down with Mike Grace to preview the game.
Thanks, guys, and as you said, I'm here with Mike Grace, who is now the Assistant Athletic Director here at Samford. And Mike, this weekend is big for a lot of different reasons.
No doubt about that. It's a regular season finale for head coach Chris Hatcher and his Samford Bulldogs, a chance to finish out what's already been a great season, but hopefully make it a little better, a win, and there's a chance that these Dogs earn themselves another chance to play the next weekend when the FCS playoffs are announced.
Definitely, and even more so for specific guys like Carell and Devlin, there's a really big opportunity for them to capitalize on this weekend where they can set some more offensive records throughout this season.
Numbers they put up already have been crazy, and Carell Hamilton this season has broken the new career receiving mark for Samford University for both receiving yards, for receptions. He's 1 touchdown away from owning that career record by himself as well, and he's approaching a bunch of single season marks as well that he's got a chance to get this weekend. Devlin Hodges, on the other hand, a guy who's just 47 yards away from setting a single season mark for passing. He'll break the mark set by Andy Summerlin a couple of years ago, and again, I think we're in good shape of him getting those 47 plus yards and just 1 touchdown pass away from tying that record, which is 34 in a season, set by some guy named Jimbo Fisher, who is currently head coach, of course, at Florida State.
Indeed. Yeah, like you said, those numbers have been pretty crazy. And then to touch on another thing you mentioned, the playoffs coming up, not to try and overlook the game, but what does the playoff system for FCS look like for those at home that may not know?
It's a 24-team field, Johnny. It starts with 10 automatic qualifiers. The Southern Conference and several other leagues have an automatic qualifier. For us, that's going to be the Citadel, the unbeaten Southern Conference champion. But then there are 14 at-large bids that will go out, and that's determined by committee, just like the big dance for basketball, something like that. And so there'll be 14 teams hoping for one of those at-large bids when they're announced on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time. Samford will hope to hear their name called and find out if they are one of those at-large teams that joins the playoff field of 24. And then it's a matter of playing week to week and win or go home, so to speak. Yeah,
definitely. And win or go home actually speaks to this weekend a fair amount because they definitely don't want to overlook this weekend.
No, not at all. ETSU is a new program, Johnny. They had football forever and then disbanded in the 2003 season, and so it went dormant, this program did, for basically 10 years. They came back a year ago, played a limited schedule, and are playing their first Southern Conference schedule this season. Struggling under head coach Carl Torbush, but that's a big key for them, Johnny, because they've got a guy who's a veteran. He was a head coach at Louisiana Tech way back when, spent 3 years as the head coach at North Carolina, and has been at just about every SEC program over the years as a really highly respected defensive coordinator. So it's a veteran guy they've got at the helm. They've had a couple more seasons of recruiting to get more and more players in, and they're going to be a team that's going to certainly try to play spoiler this weekend. They know what Samford has on the line coming in to Johnson City, so they'd love to certainly upset the apple cart and hand our Bulldogs another loss.
Definitely. Yeah, it's going to be a super intriguing matchup this Saturday as the Bulldogs travel there. And that is all we have time for. Back to you guys.
That's all we have for you guys this week. Make sure you catch us next Thursday.
I'm Abby Jones.
And I'm Kelsey Royalty.
And thanks for tuning in.